Cult is literally the care owed to God, to gods, and to temples, shrines, or churches. Cult is embodied in ritual and ceremony. Its present or former presence is made concrete in temples, shrines and churches, and cult images, including cult images and votive offerings at votive sites. In the specific context of the Greek hero cult, Carla Antonaccio wrote, "The term cult identifies a pattern of ritual behavior in connection with specific objects within a framework of spatial and temporal coordinates." Rituals would include prayer, sacrifice, votive offerings, competitions, processions and construction of monuments. Some degree of recurrence in place and repetition over time of ritual action is necessarily for a cult to be enacted, to be practiced. Etymology. Cicero defined religio as cultus deorum, the cultivation of the gods. The cultivation necessary to maintain a specific deity was the god's cultus, cult, and required the knowledge of giving the gods the due. The noun cultus originates from the past participle of the verb colo, colere, colui, cultus, to tend, take care of, cultivate, originally meaning to dwell in, inhabit, and thus to tend, cultivate land, to practice agriculture, an activity fundamental to Roman identity even when Rome as a political center had become fully urbanized. Cultus is often translated as cult without the negative connotations the word may have in English, or with the Old English word worship, but it implies the necessity of active maintenance beyond passive adoration. Cultus was expected to matter to the gods as a demonstration of respect, honor, and reverence. It was an aspect of the contractual nature of Roman religion. Augustine of Hippo echoes Cicero's formulation when he declares, "Religio is nothing other than the cultus of God." The term cult first appeared in English in 1617, derived from the French culte, meaning worship, which in turn originated from the Latin word cultus, meaning care, cultivation, worship. The meaning, devotion to a person or thing, is from 1829. Starting about 1920, cult acquired an additional 6 or more positive and negative definitions. In French, for example, sections in newspapers giving the schedule of worship for Catholic services are headed Culte Catholique, while the section giving the schedule of Protestant services is headed Culte Réformé. In Christianity, in the Catholic Church, outward religious practice in cultus is the technical term for Roman Catholic devotions of veneration extended to a particular saint, not to the worship of God. Catholicism and the Eastern Orthodox Church make a major distinction between latria, the worship that is offered to God alone, and dulia, which is veneration offered to the saints, including the veneration of Mary, whose veneration is often referred to as hypergelia. Outwards religious practice. Outward religious practice in worship are rituals, ceremonies, liturgy or audits, which may involve spoken or sung words, and often involve personal sacrifice. Other outward manifestations of the cult of a deity are the preservation of relics of the creation of images, such as icons or three-dimensional cultic images, denigrated as idols, and the specification of sacred places, hilltops and mountains, fishes and caves, springs, pools and groves, or even individual trees or stones, which may be the seat of an oracle of the venerated site of a vision, apparition, miracle or other occurrence commemorated or recreated in outward religious practice. Sacred places may be identified and elaborated by construction of shrines, temples, and churches, on which are centered public attention at religious festivals and which may become the center for pilgrimages.